if you don't do what you're supposed to do, it's like high school. When you're bullied in first year, when you get to second year, or third year, and the juniors also come to you, you say, because it was done to me, I will do it to you. And it becomes a cycle that will never stop.
One video from you that really caught a lot of people's attention was you suggesting that Ghanaian youth should learn how to work without pay.
Yeah.
What did you mean? Why? How?
Okay, thank you. So what I meant by that is that this is a system. Okay, I don't want to go too much into the system. Most times people are like, "Abanjuma dear, yeah, and that's, I feel that's, I'm not saying everyone in the government sector, but I feel like a lot of people in the government sector. Using this as an example, how many parents, if they had the resources, would take their children to public schools, especially kindergarten, primary, the lower primary? How many parents, if they had the resources, would take their children to public schools? And it's not because public schools, private schools are special. It was because of how it is run, because of how certain teachers treat the students. And there are certain public schools where there are 100 students in a class. How is a teacher going to attend to all these people, right? So with that, taking all this into consideration, that's what I said, that your focal point, because you need money to pay rent, you need money to buy food, your focal point should not be necessarily the money, because whatever you do, it affects the average Ghanaian. And so if you have the mentality that if I go to the hospital and I neglect the patient's issue, or I don't give the patients enough care, the care that they deserve, or the care that their issue deserves, if that patient passes away, that patient is not the government official, it's the average Ghanaian. If you are teaching students and you're cracking jokes instead of teaching them because you're not being paid your due wage, you're not teaching the government official's son, you're teaching the average Ghanaian son. So if you take all this into consideration and you realize that whatever you do, it is
back
to the average Ghanaian and not the government official, that should motivate you to do more. I don't care if you leave the system, start a business, do something, get out the system. If you do get out of the system, fine. But as far as you're in the system, you know that whether you try or you do not try, it's going to be the same. So why don't you try your best so that you can breed proper generation that will experience like good, selfless people. And so when they get to the highest level, because they've experienced selfless people from their young age, they will be the proper leaders you're looking for. If we do not put like that average Ghanaian thing into consideration, we'll keep waiting for that good, wonderful leader or wonderful government official, like we're waiting for the Messiah. Difference is the Messiah will come, but that leader will not come because we are not creating that conducive environment for those type of leaders to grow. So that is what I meant by learn to work without pay. I meant adapt to the system, because the system is there. Whether you do your work properly, you don't do your work properly, is there. So you do work properly, is there. Then again, if you're doing your work, you're not doing your work properly, it's affecting the average Ghanaian. If you do your work properly, it's affecting the average Ghanaian. And when you do your work properly, you're breeding good leaders, good generation. Yeah.
So the mindset is, okay, fine. All the instances you gave as to how the Ghanaian is supposed to work would have been perfect, but somebody might also be sitting down and thinking, well, there are those up there who are really enjoying life, so why do you want to push me in that position to endure for somebody else to enjoy? Okay. Probably that was what generated the conversation, that what she was saying doesn't make sense.
Yeah. So one thing that I would say is that our leaders are already in their position, right? Whatever, for years we've heard Ghanaians, not just, as an individual, I feel, yes, we've had Ghanaians screaming, please help us, we are starving, we are dying, we are doing this, we are doing 001, 100. Hear us and come help us.
What is that? What is 001, 1000?
So 001 is when you don't eat in the morning, you don't eat in the afternoon, you eat in the evening. So when you reverse it...
Is this something that you just came up with?
Oh, no. It's a thing. It's
really?
a thing, yes.
I never knew. Wow.
So yeah, it's
So 0 morning, 0 afternoon, 1 evening.
Yes.
Or 1 100.
So let
or
me.
it could be 101.
Yes. So let's say if you eat all through the day, it's 111.
Amazing.
So when you do not eat, you replace that 1 with 0. So let's say if you ate breakfast, you didn't eat supper, and you ate lunch, 110. So yes. So back to the conversation. For years, Ghanaians have been screaming, "Please help us!" If they wanted to listen, they would have listened. If there was a lot of things they could do to help out, they would have done it. And I believe that individually, we can also do something. Individuals make up the society and make up the community, right? So individually, you can also do something in your own small way. That's what I'm saying, that it will become a cycle. If you don't do what you're supposed to do, it's like high school. When you're bullied in first year, when you get to second year, or third year, and the juniors also come to you, you say, because it was done to me, I will do it to you. And it becomes a cycle that will never stop. So until one teacher, one nurse, one doctor, one trader, this is not just one driver, because there are times where you would go to work in the morning, you pay 3 cedis, 50 pesos. When you're coming back and it's late, because it's late, the driver will say, wherever you stop or wherever you are light, 10 cedis. So I'm not just talking to the corporate world, I'm also talking to every individual that make up the society. If we really want the government to hear us, we should not depend on the now government or the governments. I'm not talking about the now government as in, I'm talking about this generation's government. We should be looking at the generation to come. Maybe we may not enjoy that, but if we create that conducive environment, our children will live to enjoy that. And I would love that, I may not be there, but I would love to hear at least 5 students say, oh, it was this senior, it was this, or teachers would love to hear that, oh, it was my teacher that did this and showed me the way. My mom is a teacher, and growing up, we saw that she would bring students home for the weekend, right? Maybe their parents have to travel or they have to go do something. My mom would bring them home. It wasn't part of her job, but because she was selfless, and that's one thing that Mama keeps saying, that if I don't train you well, if I don't do my best and you become an armed robber, you may not shoot me, but you shoot my child, my grandchild, my something. And so she keeps doing it. I've seen people do it. Teachers have really influenced my life, selfless teachers. I remember when I was in high school, there's this teacher, Madam Edna, she would host me after, because I live in Kumasi, and let's say there's a week break or 2 weeks break, she would host me in her house. That's a teacher. It's not part of her job to host me, but she was selfless. The love that she's shown me, wherever I am, I remember that, and I want to transfer that good to someone. And that is what I mean. You don't look at the now, and that's what the leaders of old did. They didn't look at the now. They looked at the future generations to come, that they may enjoy the success that they have built for them. And that's what I'm talking about. That will drive a good cause. That will drive a good governance. You're not talking about what you're experiencing now. Look at the generations to come. And that's what I'm talking about.
Odro said something. She said, Rachel, she said, a black man would never sow a seed he will not see to reap it. Today, let us sow the seed. What you're saying is more like, let us sow the seed now. 20 years, some people will come and reap it.
Yes.
Would you do that?
Yes. An example is the Osajifo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. Imagine if he was, today when you travel, some people are like, I've traveled, I don't want to come back. This man was in a foreign land, and then he came back. He did not, let's say for some time, he reaped the seed that the fruit of his labor, but now we are all evidence that we are all reaping it. If it wasn't for him and some other leaders, today we might still be in the bondage that we were in, right?
You think what we're enjoying today is by Nkrumah?
I'm talking about the independence. That is what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the independence. If it wasn't for Nkrumah and some other leaders, we wouldn't have the independence we have today. And that's what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about any other thing but independence.
Amazing.
Yes.
Guys, my time here with Fedra Safo Ajiman. The advocacy here now is that we go the hard work and then suffer for tomorrow. Let us suffer. Let us go hungry today. If we really want a vibrant leadership tomorrow, it's not going to come on a silver platter. You have to contribute. I have to contribute. It's like a shared responsibility. So the government work that we are saying, we don't put our head, we put it here. We now have to carry it on our head like it's our own property. Even though we will physically see that some people are enjoying and we are crying down here. But that is discipline. We do that, and some years to come, things are going to be better.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts?
Uganda, Uganda, Gambia, Ethiopia.